Happy New Year, everyone. As we move forward in 2026, I wanted to take a look back at the final pickups I made during 2025. Yes, I know, it's been a long time since I made a pickups video. That's because I've moved multiple times over the past year and a half, so purchasing new games wasn't high on my priority list. But now that I'm getting settled in my new spot, I've started to find time to get a few new items for the collection. Starting with Pokemon Legends ZA for the Nintendo Switch. I'm really enjoying certain aspects of this game. I really like the contained area, and considering the layout of the game, there's a ton of exploration. However, I'm not overly thrilled with the character's movement abilities, as it can be quite frustrating to try and make the simplest of jumps. The combat has a great blend between turn-based and real-time action, which really helps give you the need to use a variety of attacks instead of just spamming the same moves over and over again. The new story format is also quite interesting. However, I do find it really easy to get completely distracted by catching new Pokemon, picking up glowing items on the ground, and the ever time consuming shiny hunting instead of moving forward with the story. Overall, though, I'm really enjoying the new gameplay direction they've taken with the Legend series of games. Next up, we have Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for the Nintendo Switch. Somehow, even with owning it on the Nintendo Wii, I've never fully played through Super Mario Galaxy 2. I have beaten Galaxy 1 on the Wii and already own it again on the 3D All-Stars collection, so I was actually hesitant to pick it up. So, I decided to ask for it for the holidays, which made it easier to justify adding it to the collection. Both games play great, look great, and sound great. And if this is your only way to play these games, then this is a fantastic way to do it, and is definitely going to be the way I play through Galaxy 2 for the first time. Sticking with the Nintendo Switch, for the holidays, I received Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I know this game has divided the gaming community, but from my short experience with it so far, it's fantastic. It looks absolutely amazing, and for me so far, it plays extremely well on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I am only about an hour into the game, so that can definitely change, but I'm quite happy with my first impressions. This is the game that I expected to take up all my free time once I received it, but instead, that honor belongs to the next game in the list.
Oh no, there's too many of them.
For the final Nintendo Switch game that has been added to my collection in recent months, over the holidays, I was gifted Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. Originally, I was only going to play the first hour or so to capture some footage for this video, but somehow, I'm about 20 hours in and loving it. I find myself playing about an hour every night. The game just really captured my attention. The gameplay is an original turn-based RPG. There's an overworld map, multiple towns, caves, oceans, and deserts to explore as you make your way through the story, but there's some really interesting and intriguing gameplay aspects. From being able to set your team's battling habits to changing their personalities, there's so much to discover that can change the outcome of a battle. The game also looks fantastic, and upping the battle speed really helps keep you focused as you continue on the epic quest. Of all the games that I've been playing recently, this is the one that I find myself the most eager to turn on and play again. Moving on to the PlayStation 5, at my local liquidation store, I found a copy of Ghost of Yote, along with the gold limited edition Ghost of Yote DualSense controller. I was absolutely surprised to see it at the liquidation store, especially because when I found it, the controller had only been out for a couple of weeks at that point. Then I realized that it was there because the box had a pretty large tear in it. I know this would bother a lot of collectors, and to an extent, it bothered me too, but I will say that in my opinion, the box is the least important aspect. The actual controller is in mint condition, and I tested it as soon as I got home, and it works perfectly. As for the game, I haven't gotten to it. In fact, I actually haven't played Ghost of Tsushima yet, and I plan on doing that first, so it'll be a bit before I have time to play it. But I'll have a beautiful new controller to use when I finally do get to it. The other PS5 game I added to the collection was another gift over the holidays, Split Fiction. Oddly enough, I actually asked for it for the Xbox Series X so that it'll be easier for me to play with my partner, but I ended up getting the PS5 version instead. So I decided to purchase it on sale digitally on the Xbox so that her and I can play together, and I'll probably just keep this PS5 copy sealed. As for the game, we're having a really good time with it, going through the different stories, solving puzzles together, and laughing together as we get turned into hot dogs is just an absolute blast. While I personally haven't seen anything that really puts it above It Takes Two, it's still a really fun time and gives us another way to play games together.
Get it! What? It's our only way out of here! No! Oh, no, no!
Now for some weirder games I added to my collection. At a thrift store, I found a copy of the Magic School Bus Oceans for the Nintendo DS. Is this something that I'm going to play regularly? No. But it's not very often that I find complete DS games at thrift stores, so I tend to pick them up whenever I can. As for the condition, the case, manual, and cartridge all look fantastic. Even though I don't see me playing through this game after I give it a good test, maybe it'll be a good surprise gift for a young family member. Next up is another DS game, and that's Kung Zoo. I managed to pick this up from my local library as they're starting to phase out some of their older games that never get borrowed. My library has games from a pretty decent selection of consoles, but it sounds like they're starting to move away from older games and they're going to start stocking newer games like for the Nintendo Switch. So they're actually selling off some of their older selection. While there's not a lot that I'm interested in, I figured I could pick up one or two items to help support them. The case for Kung Zu is pretty dirty, especially in this top corner, but that's not too surprising for a game that's been in borrowing circulation for over 10 years. However, the manual looks to be in pretty good shape and the cartridge has a couple of marks on it, but nothing major. The second item being SpongeBob SquarePants featuring Nicktoons Globs of Doom for the Nintendo Wii. Getting games used from the library means condition is never going to be very good. The case is pretty beat up, and the manual has a bunch of folds in it, but overall, it's not terrible. All of the library placed ownership stickers were extremely easy to peel off without damaging the case further, which is always a plus. However, the disc does have some permanent marker on the artwork, and the back of the disc is pretty scratched up, but the game does work perfectly fine. It's actually a 3D action platformer with a ton of different characters. While not the most complex game, considering the target audience is probably meant to be someone much younger than me, it can be a good time if you grew up with these characters.
Taste my dirty bubble! All right, you asked for it! All right, you asked for it!
Sticking with the Nintendo Wii, I picked up a copy of Rayman Raving Rabbids TV Party, and it's in excellent condition. The game itself is a pretty wild time, as it seems to be a collection of minigames from dancing and wrestling to racing and even trying to win a fashion show. While I actually don't have one, I was pretty surprised to see there's even Wii Balance Board support, so if you have one stashed away in a closet, you could actually make use of it with this game. I know the rabbits can be seen as annoying to some people, but personally, I tend to enjoy them and usually have a good time in any game that they appear. This also definitely seems like it would be a game that would be far more enjoyable playing with friends instead of alone like I was while testing the game. From the frantic hilarity that can be the Rabbids to the super serious battles of World War II, I picked up a copy of Blazing Angel Squadrons of World War II. This is a flight combat game on the Nintendo Wii, and one that didn't feel very intuitive to me. By the end of the tutorial, I was starting to get used to the motion controls, but it left me with very little desire to keep going with the game. I've personally never really been that big into flight combat games, but I'm always willing to give a game a chance, as you never know what's going to click. Unfortunately, though, I don't think I'm going to go back to this one anytime soon. As for the condition, it has a big sticker stain front and center, but the disc barely looks like it's been used.
That's a kill! Now let's make like we're strafing a German convoy. Pretend those balloons are trucks and take them out.
Next up are two games for the PS3 that I already have other ways to play, but I was missing these specific versions. We have Red Dead Redemption and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Finding games like these at thrift stores for really cheap is how I've managed to build the majority of my collection. Both games are in extremely good condition. In fact, Red Dead still has the poster inside, which was extremely surprising to me, and Call of Duty has the previous owner's receipt from HMV back in 2010 for $71. Finding things like this from previous owners is such an interesting aspect to collecting old games to me. Seeing part of this particular game's history is fascinating and makes me wonder when was the last time this disc was actually used? Now, for what I consider to be the most interesting game I added to my collection. Yes, this was actually all the way back on April 29, 2025 when I got this, but I haven't shown it in a video yet, so here is my brand new Game Boy Advance game, Shantae Advance Risky Revolution. Over the years, I've become a bigger and bigger fan of the Shantae franchise, so when I heard they were going to finish an unreleased Shantae GBA game, I decided to pre-order it as soon as I could. I waited for months to get this game, and I couldn't be happier with it. I never thought I would get a brand new GBA game in 2025, so to me, it's one of the cooler items in my gaming collection. Now, as you can tell, this is actually still sealed, and I think I'm going to keep it that way, especially since there are digital versions of the game I can get from modern consoles. And finally, the most recent game I added. As someone who really enjoys the Pokemon franchise, there's a surprising amount of games that I've never played, including my newest pickup, Pokemon Black. In fact, I missed out on that entire generation, and I'm really looking forward to clearing out this Pokemon blind spot for me. I decided I wanted to get something that I'd probably never find at a thrift store, so I went searching on eBay and found a complete copy at a price I was comfortable with. The case is in pretty nice condition. It does have a mark towards the top, and the manual does have a bit of a bend at the end of the pages, but overall, I'm extremely happy with it. I also know this era of Pokemon games are often faked, and I did a lot of research before purchasing, as well as double checking after it arrived, and through everything I can tell, it's a legit copy of the game. As for the game itself, it does have the standard Pokemon formula that we all already know, and I just got the first badge after deciding to start with Tepig. I did also get a couple of new gaming related items over the holidays, starting with a new memory card for my GameCube. Can't believe I was in the market for a GameCube memory card, but that's just where I'm at these days. And as a gift, I received a copy of Hyrule Historia. Yes, I know this book is no longer up to date, but that doesn't take away from all the cool sketches, concept art, and behind the scenes information that's in the book. I always find stuff like this fascinating, and as a Zelda fan, it's something I've been meaning to get for a long time, and now I can finally say I have it in my collection. And there we have it. Everything I've added to my gaming collection in recent months. Yes, I know it's not that many items when compared to a lot of my older videos, but I've been in the process of moving a couple times in the past 2 years, and now that I'm finally in my new permanent home, and 90% of my collection is no longer in storage, I feel I can justify starting to purchase new and exciting games again. Hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to let me know all the cool stuff you got over the holidays in the comments. Thanks for watching.